Alright, so this is the contraption I had set up to try to help me position and hold pieces of wood here that were not all the same size so that I could drill them and get them centered easy. But I have ordered this this cross vise, and we're going to put this together and see how well it works. It should work a lot better, but there is certainly some assembly required here. Alright, so we're going to see what all we got in here. That certainly wasn't going anywhere. Alright, so it looks like we got 3 different Allen keys, 2 nuts, 2 washers, 2 handles, and 2 screws. Alright, so I think I got this figured out for y'all. These screws on the end, you're going to want to turn these until they stick out a little bit, but pay attention over here that this doesn't, you don't want to screw that out of this end over here, because then you have to put it back in. But once you got this screwed out a little bit, you can insert this this knob on there, and then you put a washer, and then you put a nut, and then when you turn this, it's going to move the stage, this stage right here. But before that can happen, you have to take this small Allen key, and on the center of this screw, of this bolt right here, this nut, it's an Allen key. In fact, all of them are. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to loosen that center one just a bit, and that will allow this translation stage then to move. And then once you get it into place where you want it, you can use that Allen key to lock it back down so that it doesn't move on you. So that's just a set screw. So now your knob won't turn here. And you do the same thing up here on this one. Rotate this out a little bit. And again, you can see as I rotate this screw over here on this side will disappear. So you don't want to screw it out too far. And then we'll put our nut. Oops, I'm sorry. Then we'll put our handle on here. Put our washer. Put our nut. This is just a friction nut. So it has a nylon insert on one end that will keep it from backing off. So I'll have to get a wrench to put that on all the way. And then this won't turn yet. So again, I have to take this small Allen key and set the set screws. This side doesn't have set screws. This side over here does. So we'll take that and we'll loosen that set screw. And then now this stage up here will move. Now, as best I can tell, this is working. So these 2 pieces are just extra screw drives that they gave us for these 2 translation stages. That's awful nice of them. I'll put these in a bag somewhere and promptly forget where I put them. And so that's it. Now all we got to do is got to tighten up these nuts, and then I got to bolt it to the bottom of my drill press. The other thing I should note is that the outsides of these things turn, and there's a section here. I'll show it to you. So there's a section here where it's flat spotted, where I can put a wrench and tighten this part here to where it doesn't turn, and then this part turns. Otherwise you get cranking on this and this part here will unscrew, right? If you put that in there and you go one way or the other, then pretty soon your handle will just come off. So you want to make sure that you take the time to tighten that up in there, and then the outside of the handle will turn so that you can do this rapidly, and it won't come off. So I'm going to get some wrenches, tighten this up, and then we'll put it on the bottom of the drill press. Alright, so one last little note is when you tighten these up, don't tighten them all the way down, because otherwise it will bind on it and you won't be able to turn this thing. Again, these are nylon locking nuts, so all you got to do is make sure the nylon's passed into the thread here, and then I tightened it up just enough to take most of the wiggle out of it this way, so that way the knob wasn't too sloppy, and then stop. So again, if you tighten that up and you go to turn it and it won't turn, that's why you just got to back that off a couple turns, and you'll be in business. Alright, so just a note, I want to attach my cross vise to this panel up here, not this panel here. This panel I need to put some bolts through into the workbench, but I want to attach it here because this is the platform that moves up and down, okay? And I can't attach it here and then have the drill come down, because you've only got a couple inches of throw on your drill head here. So I have to bring pieces up and down, so I'm going to attach it to this piece here. And I'm going to attach it such that I've got the access to the control that's going to lock my pieces of wood down in here, right? And then on the front I'll have the adjustment for moving this piece back and forth, and then on the side I'll have the adjustment for moving this piece back and forth this way. And then there's no control on the back, so this will be the part that faces the post here of the drill press. So that's how I want to mount it. And I've got some holes here. I've got flanges, 4 flanges on the side and 1 flange on the back for attaching a bolt. The one on the back I won't need, but we'll find some bolts that will bolt this onto this platform, and we should be good. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to find some washers that are going to work good for this. I've got a larger washer here that I was using in my rig setup before, and I think that will work good for this side. And then I've got this washer is going to be too big. See, it pushes it out too far. So I've got this washer, and I think that will work good for this side. So now I want to go find a bolt that will fit through both of those washers. That way I don't have to do any extra work as far as finding washers or drilling holes. So we're off to find 4 of those and 4 of those and 4 bolts. Alright, so we got 4 bolts and nuts. They're not all matching, but I don't care. The important thing is they won't go through this top washer, and they're long enough to go through the bottom washer, and enough thread left over to get a couple good 3 or 4 turns on that nut. Now I'm going to try to get this lined up to where I've got a little bit of gap here, so I'm going to try to get this lined up to where everything is even. That way I don't have to worry about this being all cattywampus when I'm trying to operate my controls. So I'll try to get stuff as straight as I can, which should be pretty straight. Alright, so I'm going to double check, make sure that's lined up the way I want it. Alright, so we're going to get these bolts tightened down. We're going to do this the German way, make sure that these are good and tight. Alright, so I have lost some capacity here on this drill press. If I go from the bottom of that drill down to here, I had about 14 inches. I could put a piece that was 14 inches big in there and still clear the drill press, or the drill bit. And now, with this thing, I'm down to about 10 inches. So I did lose the height of this. This thing here doesn't go all the way down to that level anyway, but so if you look at the height, this is at its lowest. I was at yeah. All right, so if we put this platform down to where it's at its lowest, I had about 10 inches of clearance. I could put a 10-inch piece on this platform and still clear the drill. And now I got to measure from that drill bit down here to the lower level of this, which is about 5.5 inches. And I'm working with pieces that are about 5.5 inches big. So I'm going to have to see if I can get a longer pole with a longer track gear that will work for me. But otherwise, if I have a smaller piece, I can put it in here. I can lock it down now, and I can maneuver this back and forth to get right to the spot I want, and move it back and forth this way to get to the spot I want. Of course, I have to lock in my platform here before I do all that. Make sure it doesn't wiggle all over the place. Alright, so it's locked down, so you can see I can move this back with some degree of precision and get it exactly where I want. So it's going to work good. I need to figure out something to do to extend my range so that I can go down further, raise this up higher. Again, may look at a pole and track, see if I can get a longer one of those for this machine.